My name is Jordan Owens. I work at the Sexual Assault Center. I am a statewide training specialist. I work with college and university professionals providing training about sexual assault, how to support survivors, trauma, things like that. You can find me at Jordan Be My Name _ on Twitter and Instagram. How I show up in community is an advocate in more than one sense. So before I was a trainer, I was an advocate at the Sexual Assault Center. And so just always making sure I'm able to educate when I can, taking advantage of those teachable moments. But I also show up as the fun one. In the friends, I'm always the goofy one. I'm always the optimistic one. So I hold those two roles in a pretty good way. The fact that I am a young Black woman on a team full of non-Black women definitely informs my passion. So like I said, or my passion projects at work. I have a lot of freedom to choose what populations I train, what content I add in my trainings. And I'm always going to be the one that chooses to do Black communities, right? Like I said, I work with colleges and universities. So one of the first projects I wanted to do was like an HBCU consortium where we get all the HBCUs in Tennessee together, get some training on sexual assault and trauma, and then create like a support group with all of them. So that's always going to be in the forefront of my mind. And Black outreach isn't necessarily on my job description. It's not a part of my job, but I always make sure that it is my job. And I'm happy to do it in either way, like any way that I can. And also, me being the fun one, I'm always going to make sure that my team is not taking things too serious. I work with a lot of ex-perfectionists or people that are fighting perfectionism. And that's definitely me myself. But I think always reminding the team, like, we need to laugh. We need to have light moments in the midst of all this work we're doing with trauma. And so, yeah. My happy place is most definitely on somebody's plane on the way somewhere out of town. I love traveling. Traveling has become my favorite form of self-care because one, I live at home, so I can afford to do these things. And I'm taking advantage of it because I don't have any kids. And two, it kind of just, I've been living in Tennessee my whole life. I went to college in Tennessee, outside of Nashville, but I've been in Tennessee. So it helps me to, to see the world and ground me. My job can be kind of stressful sometimes. So just knowing, getting out of Tennessee and knowing like, the world is much bigger than what you got going on. It really grounds and centers me. So that's my favorite form of self-care right now. And I'm also getting much more comfortable with my natural hair and trying to learn what she likes and what she doesn't like. So during this quarantine, I've been doing a lot of hair experiments as well. A lot of hair care. So those two things really make me happy. And candles. So my favorite thing about collaborating with Black women is just, it's like a breath of fresh air. Being in that space for me is really affirming. And one of my favorite things about life is sisterhood and friendship, and how like having good community can like even increase how long you're gonna be living. So I love that. I love how it's like, no, we didn't grow up together, but we all kind of grew up together. Like no matter what side of the country you're on, Black people got a lot of similar things from childhood that you can talk about and relate about. I think a lot of missed opportunities come when we, like intergenerational collaboration. I feel like I can connect with the millennials all day, but like when we get to that older generation, sometimes how they think about things or their ideologies really clashes with some of the younger folks. And I would love to bridge that gap and kind of, learn a little bit more from each other if they are ready for that. People got to be ready for that. As far as allies and what allies can do, I think leave those spaces alone. Leave the Black spaces alone and work more in their own spaces. So I feel like sometimes allies can force a lot of stuff, insert themselves in situations that they're not needed in. Work on what you got at home. Work on your family. Work on your friend group. I think that's sound advice that any ally or accomplice could benefit from. The advice that I would give to my younger self is this. I actually have two pieces of advice. The first one is you don't have to meet everybody's needs and make everyone happy, because that's not your job. The second would be have a seat, sit down, and reflect. Pay attention, focus, hone in on some things. Don't just stay on the go all the time, because you're going to wear yourself out. So I think my younger self was definitely missing boundaries with people, as well as lack of focus, lack of noticing how important rest was. And so I would just let her know that, girl, there's going to come a time where you're going to be forced to rest, aka 2020 quarantine. And you're going to trip the first month and a half. You're not going to know what to do. But just, it's going to be fine. You're going to sit down and try to journal. It's going to be torturous, but you're going to pay attention to your body. You're going to stretch more. You're going to be at a slow pace, and it's going to be great. And you're also going to cut off toxic men when they need too much from you. You're also not going to be that friend that's the helper that's trying to meet everybody's needs, because you're not the mama of the group. You're the fun girl of the group, and that's okay.